Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are going to be working on a big planting project out in the formal flower garden. We're starting up here though by the raised bed garden so I can show you a mature version of what we're planting out there. See this gorgeous lavender right here? This is a variety called Sweet Romance. It lines our whole raised bed vegetable garden fence, and it's been here for, I want to say 7 years, maybe 8 years, and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. So we are going to be planting a ton of this Sweet Romance lavender to line all the brick walkways out in the formal flower garden. And I was visiting with Proven Winners about kind of the scope of this project, and they were kind enough to send us smaller plants to make the project go a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. So you can see some of them right here. We'll be able to use our 3-inch auger to just zip holes in the ground and pop these in. And we have 460 of them. It's going to be a big day. I think once we get the first quadrant done, in fact, we'll just head out there. Once we get the first quadrant done and have all of the measurements kind of worked out precisely, because like right now it's just a loose guess on how many we're gonna actually be planting. Anyway, once we get that first quadrant figured out, the rest of them will go very, very quickly. And Sweet Romance lavender, I'll have to look up the zone. It grows 12 to 18 inches tall and wide. And it's one of my favorite lavender plants. I've grown a lot of them throughout the years, but this one is just more dense in its growth. It's got a more vivid, deep purple. Some of them are very light in color and very wispy, and they're gorgeous. But in this application, I really want that purple to shine. And they bloom like the whole season, and the pollinators love them. Okay, so here we go into the south garden. Things are looking pretty. About ready to do some cut back on some of these things. Look at those delphiniums. Oh. Okay. So here we are. Look at the annuals. I guess we should just stop and take a look at these first off. We've got Plain the Blue Salvia, underplanted with the Supertunia Mini Vista Plum Veined. Just close up there. Isn't this pretty? I would be happy just having them stay exactly this size all season, because they're colorful, they're impactful, but they haven't gone absolutely nuts yet. The bees, though, are going nuts over the salvia. I don't know if you can see all the bee activity. They're just flying all over the place. I just love this whole space. I love it so much. It makes me happy every time I drive by it. Throughout the day, every time we walk through the garden, I just feel like at peace in this space. But here's the plan. So you can see the brick walkways here. What I would like to do is figure out exactly how far over I want it to go. Now we can't line it up with the boxwoods, which might look a little bit funny today, but the boxwoods, you know, they will grow out. Like I planted them in a ways because I knew I wanted them to kind of fill in this space in the end. I wanted them to have room to get big enough to be very impactful. So we'll plant the lavender about right here. I do want it to spill over the walkway just a little bit, like maybe just a couple inches on either side, so it kind of softens the edges. So it'll go in, it'll go along the sidewalk, it'll stop short of the boxwood, and then I'm gonna do a little curve with the lavender. And then we'll take off down the other way. The beauty of this variety too is that I don't have to have an entrance point to get into the quadrants to do other planting because they stay so small. It's an easy step over the lavender into this area. I don't have to, you know, bring a ladder out or do a great big jump to get over it. But I think the lavender, while adding color, while adding something the pollinators love, will add even more definition and structure and softness too at the same time to the whole area, because we're going to be doing the lavender around each one of these quadrants. So ×4 here, ×4. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's what I think our approach is gonna be. We're gonna rake back the mulch so we don't make a mess all over the top of it. I don't know if we're gonna run a line or not. It might be easier if we run a line so that I can make sure that they're all, you know, very precisely planted in a straight row, because that's kind of important out here. For the lavender especially, because the lavender is not gonna create like an intensely thick hedge. Like I think there might be a little bit of individuality in the way the plants look, like there might be a little bit of separation. So I do want them to be fairly lined up nicely. So we might run a line, we'll figure out, you know, the measurements, all of that. Then we'll zip our hole with the auger and plant them, run our drip line after they're planted, and then we'll rake the mulch back over everything. So hopefully by the end of the day, it will look just like it does right now, except with the addition of some cute little lavender plants popping up out of the ground. Beautiful morning out here though. Beautiful. It's supposed to be, I think, mid 80s today. We're coming off of a couple of days where it was close to 100 or at 100. Whew, mid 80s is going to be wonderful. Okay, so we're going to tackle this first quadrant, figure it out, and then I think I'll stop and kind of walk you through what we figured out would be the easiest way, and then we'll get after it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to this project. It's just going to take us all day, maybe even longer than a day. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Thankful for the small plants, though. Whew. Got the first quadrant done. It looks awesome and it went way smoother than I thought it was gonna go. So here's a quick look at how it ended up. You can see the string still sitting there, and there's a little swoop of lavender behind the boxwood, leaving plenty of room for the boxwood to size up, and the other side. So here's what I did. I ran the string 13 inches in from the edge of the brick and then planted on the brick side of the string. And that means that the lavender plants are right about 12 inches away from the edge. So if they grow to their full size, they will grow over a couple of inches. If they stay on the small end of things, they will just kind of grace the edges of the brick. So it's kind of perfect. And then I started the first lavender plant 5 bricks in. So I don't know how many inches that is, but 5 bricks in, I just kind of eyeballed how wide the boxwood hedge is going to get and how much space I wanted between that and the lavender plant. So it's 5 bricks in, and then these go every 14.5 inches. So the whole run from the first lavender to the last one is 116 inches. So 14.5 inches apart from one another. And then these had to be slightly further apart because we're dealing with different measurements here. So I did the same thing. I started 5 bricks in, and it ended up being 240 inches that I needed to plant so that the measurement from this lavender to the bricks and this lavender to the bricks matched. So these are spaced every 15 inches. That's such a slight difference that I don't think you will even notice. And then for our swoop, I used 4. And I just eyeballed the swoop. I dug the holes and kind of popped the plants in the hole before I tamped them all in, and had to like shift a little bit so that, you know, visually the swoop looks good. I hope that all makes sense. Having the string really is helpful. So I think what I'm gonna do is just cut the string and tie it off to each one. So I've got 2 separate runs here, and I don't have to monkey with like unraveling it because I didn't ever cut the string. It's all one long piece, so that I can just shift this run over here, and then I can shift this string right over here and do the same thing. I also did rake back the mulch a little bit. We'll run our drip line right on the back side of the lavender, and it's all right here. I mean, there's actually a line that hooks to the boxwood hedge over here and then runs over and rings around this boxwood. So what we'll probably do, and I think Paul's gonna come out here, you'll probably see him in the background working on this. He's going to swap that supply line out and just hook into the boxwood drip and run the line here, and then hook it into the boxwood here, and you know, it'll all be one continuous run. Is that all clear? My goodness. Usually when I'm doing measurements, oh, it's a little bit of a scary thing, but honestly, I do it best when I'm by myself. I think that's maybe why it went smooth, because I took a long time. Like this whole first thing took me like 30 minutes. And usually, planting this many lavender plants, if I was just kind of planting willy-nilly, would take like 10 minutes. So anyway, got that one worked out. So now I can just keep going and do the same thing 15 more times. Hello. You want to see how the first one turned out?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, ran a string?
I did run a string, but look at it.
Yeah. Looks great.
So these, Aaron, are spaced every 15 inches apart.
Okay.
Those are 14.5 inches apart, and then I eyeballed the swoop.
Okay. Are you going to need to string every single one?
I'm going to.
Are you?
So I'm going to cut and just have my string ready. I mean, in the right length.
Why don't you just run a string all the way down? You can get four.
I can do that. Well, I can do 2. I think it would be easiest just to pick it up and move it.
Okay.
No, you're right.
Because if you start here and just went all the way to the end.
Then I can just do 2 at a time. And then shift it over and then do these 2. Yeah. And then 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a better idea.
Leave it to the lazy types to find a quicker way.
Nice. Okay, Paul just came over. He's going to start the drip on this area we just planted. So I thought before we move on to more planting, we could show you how this drip is going to be run, and then we can carry on with the project. You can see a drip right here, yeah. So there's a supply line and there's a drip that we can connect into, and then just run our drip right alongside the back, do our thing, and then run it over there and connect it to the drip that's right by that boxwood. And there's that one. Paul got all the drip ran. It looks beautiful, and it took him like less than 10 minutes to do it. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? I cannot wait to see this fill in and produce some color, and it just adds to the formality out here, which just pleases my eye so much. I love it. So we ended up leaving that black, you can see a little bit of it, that black supply line to the boxwood, just because it's there, it's easy. If we need to connect it to the whole thing that he just did right now later, we can do that. But yeah, you can just see, look at this, with the swoop. So Paul is just gonna come back as I get, a few more sections done at a time, and he'll run drip behind me, and then when it's all done, I'll come back through with the water tank and I will water them all in. I did water all of the lavender yesterday, and the root balls are fairly wet, and it likes to stay fairly dry. So I think they'll all be okay until I get to them later today with the water tank. I think it's gonna look awesome too, just to see all of them lined up on either side of the walkway. And I'm still deliberating as to what I want to do in the empty spots right here. For now, I'm just enjoying the empty spots, like truly enjoying them. They're easy to maintain. And they are peaceful. They're a rest for the eye. Okay, so I'm just gonna plug away at this, you guys. Let's do it. All right, it is a new day. We got 440 lavender plants in the ground yesterday, and I measured every single one of them. They are so precise, and that makes me so happy in a formal space like this. I really took my time, and by the time I was done, well, I was tired. That was a lot of up and down throughout the day, and it was dinner time. So I decided to come back out here when we were all fresh. It's a little breezy this morning though. Kind of feels refreshing, but look at this. So this is the first quadrant that we finished, and this one's got drip in it, all done. This one's all done. Let's walk over there. They all look the same, but we'll walk over there anyway. And these plants just look so dang cute. Look at this. And just imagine what they're gonna look like when they're all grown up. So this one, all done. Drip has been placed. Mulch has been redone around the plants. Looking fantastic. And then stepping back so we can see the whole area, these two quadrants aren't 100% done. So there's no drip in these two. We're gonna finish that up today. And I did run a little short on boxwoods. So if we walk through here, you can see I've got these two completely done and planted. I had enough boxwoods to do the swoops. I did the swoop behind this boxwood, but then I had to skip the swoop here. I made the holes anyway, just so we know where they're gonna be. And then I skipped the swoops on all the boxwoods or around the backside of all those boxwoods. And that's when actually getting a tape measure out to determine how many plants you need rather than just stepping it off is 100% worth it. I think we'll be able to get our hands on more lavender plants though this season, so we'll get those spaces filled in, so it's not a big deal. The sun keeps going behind these itty bitty clouds. I actually would have preferred this breeze yesterday when I was out here. It was 87, which, you know, it's been 100 already, so 87 was nice, but when you're on the bricks and on like hot mulch, oh, it was warm. So I'm thankful that the plants are looking really good. There were only a couple out of all those 440 that looked a little iffy. Maybe I can find one over here. I planted it anyway, but I think it just needed to get out of its container. Well, yeah, like this one right here. It looks okay. We'll see what happens, but some look just a lot more vibrant and robust. But yeah, you can see right here, we'll just need to pop in some lavender once we get in, which I think I can get in within a week or two. So we'll get that all buttoned up. So we'll leave the mulch back away just from this spot right here, but we can go ahead and run all the drip and get all the rest of the area buttoned up. It's just going to add so much color through this season. I'm so excited for it. And I did look up when we planted that original hedge of Sweet Romance lavender, and it was 7 years ago, and those plants look so fresh. I do treat my lavender a little bit differently than most guides will tell you, and I've done videos about it before, like how I prune my lavender, and I prefer taking them all the way back down to the ground, like a salvia or a veronica or ornamental grasses. I don't allow them to create the woody base, because when they create that woody base and then you go in and try to cut them all the way back, a lot of times that's a huge risk to the plant, and it can set it back and or kill the plant if you cut into that woody part. But if you never let them create that and you're just cutting them back down to the ground and they're forced to create fresh growth every year, I had really good luck that way. Now that could just be my area, my climate, but I've had good luck with it. I don't love the way that lavender looks once they get that woody base. They kind of look more scraggly and tired and dry. So I'll be treating the lavender out here in the same way. I just take hedge trimmers after it, cut it down to the ground in the fall or in the spring. It doesn't seem to matter. But it'll be interesting because this space is way more exposed than that space up there. That space has the arborvitae hedge, which wasn't always as big as it is, but it also has the fence that kind of, protects it from the west prevailing wind. So it is a little bit more tucked in. So we'll see if, we deal with anything different out here going forward. Anyway, guys, that is it for this project. Lots and lots of lavender in the ground. I just think it's such a great perennial for a sunny area. And this space out here, until these linden trees get bigger, it's going to be years and years and like probably a decade or more of a sun garden out here before we'll have to switch anything over to shade. And I anticipate like this middle section, unless we add some sort of a tree in, around the benches, I anticipate the more interior planting areas being more sun for longer. So we will get lots of years of enjoyment out of these plants. And the other thing that's nice about them is that they like it on the dry side. They don't need a bunch of fertilizer. They're just an easy keeper. You can come in midsummer and cut them back, like shear them back halfway or so to help them like encourage a bigger rebloom, but you don't have to. It's one of those things that depends on how you want the plant to look. Some years we'll do it, some years we won't. For a lot of things, I err on just leaving them alone and letting them do their thing. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it was a lot of the same thing, but it was a big project. It took me the better part of yesterday. I mean, I started like mid-morning and I ended right around dinner time. So it took that long to get those in the ground with a lunch break. I went out to lunch with the kids and Aaron in the middle of it. But anyway, thank you again so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.